Thank you. Sorry, no sound. This is I was just talking about how we had to do the uh, the setup here in the studio, and I'm not used to this setup in the studio, but I think we're okay now. Hope you guys can hear me. What I was saying before was that I have to cut today's live stream a little short, but I wanted to do it, and we also did it in the studio because it's just easier for the setup and breakdown because I'm going to a my dad's birthday slash Father's Day celebration this afternoon. So we are going to be focused on numbers and business today and not the beach. Sorry, guys. So we're going to be doing it here in the studio instead. Well, what's up? How's everybody doing? Where's everybody chiming in from? Always like to hear that. What city, what state, what country? Got a pretty good lineup of discussion today. Updates on the channel, updates on content that we're doing, ThropX updates as well, which very, very excited for. We're kind of, I would say the team has shifted gears in terms of our day-to-day approach and operations. It's definitely starting to shift more ThropX heavy. And this is something that we're starting to talk about pretty much, I would say pretty much every day. We have been for the last few weeks. And we are making it so much bigger and better than last year. And I keep saying like last year was like so awesome. It was the first time I've ever done anything like that, hosting my own investment conference and then have people from all over the world fly in for it. And it went off with without a hitch. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better inaugural event. And just based on we took a lot of feedback from those in attendance online and then also in person to make some adjustments for this year. And even the speakers that we're getting and that we're speaking to, I just can't wait to start releasing those names because they're really, at least the ones that we're going after. I think that's going to really continue to add a tremendous amount of value to what we're trying to do here and to obviously the expo, the conference, if you will. And that's the name of the game, is just kind of just continuing to bring tremendous value, even with the content that we have going on, more so for people who are interested in moving here. I think that is like one of the main goals here, is not only from the investment side but also the lifestyle side. And I continue to meet like so many people just at like different random events, and you just kind of never know who's watching or paying attention to this content that we're creating here for this community. And then also where people's minds are around the world in respect to their perception of Jamaica. And I always find it like fascinating who's watching this content that we have in this community and where their minds are. And it's super fascinating having these like in-person discussions and understanding that everybody has a different view perspective and also receives the content in a different way and also for different reasons. And I would say a lot of the, I guess based on the content that we've been releasing lately, it's fair that this is the type of feedback that we're getting in respect to people having what would I say? Like they kind of like see themselves in some of the people that we have on the show. And like that's what we really go for, especially when it comes to the lifestyle content that we create in respect to people who moved from different places of the world, either back to Jamaica and having no affiliation. And it's exciting to know and encouraging to know that that connection is being made. And what I've also been doing as well is connecting people, you the viewers, subscribers who watch the content with the people who come on the show. And there's an appreciation for that by the people being interviewed, and then also the connection that we're making. So I encourage everybody, if there is somebody that you want to speak to that we have interviewed, I would say 90% of the people who I've had on so far are open to being connected with subscribers. And they're here to help, and they really do believe in Jamaica and believe in the direction that we're going in. And also, the ThropX 2023 is an opportunity to kind of bring all that together. So we're working on a lot of content for the promotion of ThropX 2023, and then just kind of like what we did last year, we did a slow rollout of the names of the speakers that we're having come on. And there's also just which is amazing, right? When you pull off an event that is on the initial stage, that is just an idea, right? You don't have anything tangible, and you're just telling everybody you're going to do this thing. And like you the subscribers, I would say this was kind of the confidence to do this really came from you all. And you believed in it because we hang out here pretty much every Sunday, and at the time we were hanging out Sundays and Thursdays, and so you knew this thing that we were putting together was going to happen. But it was like everybody outside of this Throp community, how am I going to convince them to support this? How am I going to convince them to come? And now we have that kind of behind us, and we have this actually tangible product, successful product, ThropX 2022. Now it's much easier, I would say, not easy, but easier than it was last year, to show people like, hey, we have this really good investment event that there is really nothing like it, especially particularly here in the West. And we'd like you to be a part of it. And what is also happening is like so many people now want to come on, especially speakers, because they've heard and understand the impact that it has had in that inaugural year. So again, super excited for this year, and to talk more and more about it and release more information on it. And again, yeah, I'm just seeing some of the comments here. Yeah, let me know where everybody's chiming in from. Let's go up to the comments. You got the no sounds. Thank you. We are good to go on the mic here. Happy Sunday, Donna. Thanks for chiming in. Vinci for life. Thanks for chiming in. Learn, go rich. What's going on? Rookie mistake. Yeah, no mic. Messed up on that one. God, everybody's hearing me. Yeah, sorry, Donna. No beach view today, but I can tell you it's a beautiful day outside today. I wish I could show you right now, but it's very, very nice. And people are hanging out on the beach. I was out there having breakfast earlier, and everyone's having a good time, at least from what I can see. Hello, Claudette. Thanks for joining. Hi, Havrika. Happy Father's Day to everyone. And yes, happy birthday to my dad, which is on his birthday was on Friday. So happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Hi, Veronica, chiming in from Florida. Leighton. Hello. Claudette. Oh, you're in Uniondale. Okay, old stomping grounds. I haven't hung out that much in Uniondale, but we played football against them, and track, and almost every sport, I'd say, in high school. I went to Baldwin. Nicole checking in from London. Nice to have you. Elsers here from Philly. This week they're staying at Travelers. Awesome. And there's a lot of, and I just kind of like a side note. I like a lot of you all are staying here at Travelers, and I obviously I don't advertise it much, the hotel. And I just want to say, like, one, I appreciate you all. Like, when you even there was a family from London, they weren't staying here, but they just came in. I think they were staying in like in St. Elizabeth, and they literally just took a day trip here just to come and have breakfast, and to support Travelers and to support what we're doing. So I really, really appreciate that. And I'll also say, please don't be afraid to say hello. And I'm getting this less now, and maybe I'm making improvements on my approach and my behavior, perhaps. But I used to get a lot of the that the feedback I was getting, that I'm unapproachable, or that I somehow don't want to speak to anybody, but that's not the case. And so if you do see me, especially, and if you definitely stay here at Travelers, please say hello. I try to say hello to everybody, even if obviously if you're not a subscriber, but just from a hospitality perspective, and trying to make everybody feel welcome and make it feel like they're home here at Travelers. But even outside of that, I would say, if you either stay here or you just come to stop by, please say hello. I love having conversations with subscribers, especially, and it also gives me like, you just never know. Well, like in my mind, like I just never know where those conversations are going to go. and I just learned so much from you all, especially in person. I learned a lot here on this live stream, but all like when I meet you all from where you're from, it just kind of again kind of going back to what I opened up with. You just never know what people are watching this content for and what it means to them. And so there's just like a lot of validation in those conversations. And then also it's an opportunity for me to help out in any way I can, lend my network to you all to help you achieve your individual goals, because that's a big reason why I do this, and why, and it also motivates me. Like even now, I obviously can't do this for everybody, but when I can, I do. But there's a family here, and they're from the states, and they have a goal of moving here, and they have young children, and we're going to be meeting next week, and going to be, I don't know if they're on the stream here today. But I'm not trying to blow anybody's spot up, but I happen to have some time next week, and we're going to sit down and we're going to chat, and we're going to hopefully help them out in whatever way that I can. And like I said, I can't do that for everybody. And like we just don't know what my schedule is going to be like, but they just happen to catch me at a good time. And they said hello, and we already started talking. So it was very nice to meet them. So what I'm trying to say is just please don't be afraid to say hello. I'm always open to it, and always open to having a combo. Janice, happy Father's Day to all the fathers checking in from Lake Worth, Florida. Welcome. Nice to see you. As always, Jay Fitz, High Throp, and family trying to multitask today with the podcast and F1 racing. I love F1 racing. I started watching it from the Drive to Survive on Netflix, and this is kind of has nothing to do with what we're doing here, but it's a phenomenal docu series. And I never ever thought I would be into car racing, let alone F1. I always thought it was this pretentious sport for the ultra rich, the ultra wealthy, and boy, could I have not been wronger, you know. And it really is. I mean, the storylines are incredible, and they do an incredible job. And so my point in even bringing that up is like I don't watch the live season just so I can enjoy the Drive to Survive season when it comes out on Netflix. So it'll probably come out in like a year from now after this season is over, and then I can enjoy that one so that way, so I don't know who wins and I could follow all the drama a year later, but that's fine. I can wait. And so that's how I enjoy the sport. Gillette Bennett from Stokey, Illinois. Excuse me. I'm from New York. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. MDL, hello to Throp and Throppers. Happy Father's Day to all the great fathers chiming in from Washington, D.C. area. Awesome. And as Donna Bryce says, please hit the like button. Definitely helps out a lot. Nicole Knight says, you are doing a fantastic job highlighting the benefits of living in Jamaica. So happy you run this channel. Continue to avoid negativity and stay in this positive lane. Thank you very much, Nicole. Appreciate that. Douglas, thank you for the encouragement. Lengo Invest says, happy Father's Day to the dads. Charles says, hi to all watching from NYC. Can't wait for Throp X 2023. Yeah, it'd be great to see you again, Charles. That was good. That was good. It was really nice having you. Jay Fitz says, unapproachable. I get that a lot also. Yeah, I don't know. It's something I've grown accustomed to at this point, but I try to be more accommodating. But I have to, at the end of the day, I have to be myself and my own personality, right? Claudette says, thinking of moving back to Jamaica. Awesome. Hopefully you'll be able to do it sooner rather than later. Jeff is chiming in from Montreal. Nice to see you, Jeff. And Ingrid says, I stayed at Travelers last week, and you made me feel welcomed with my cousin Beverly back to Atlanta now. Awesome. Awesome. I'm happy to hear. Miguel is chiming in from London. Nice to have you, Miguel. Hey, what's going on, Kevin? Happy Sunday to you as well. Normally tuning in from Toronto, but in Falmouth, Trelawney today. Awesome. Welcome to the island, man. Happy to have you here. Let me know if you come this way, if you make it to Negril. It would be great to say hello if you do. Let me turn off my notifications here. Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, I'm going to pay that Throp X. We got some testimonials. I'll save it for later. We got some ThropX testimonials. I played this video before, but I do want to hop into content for today, as we do have some limited time here, because I do got to get going. So I don't have a hard out. I mean, I guess 2:30 is my hard out, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how what the exchange of discussion that we have here goes. And we are talking about the Jamaica Stock Exchange and where it is now. And as you can see from the title, should you still invest? And I have this broken up into two lanes. So we have the article from last week, which we started to talk about, but we were talking about dating in Jamaica last week, and that was a very interesting conversation to say the least. And if you haven't seen it yet, I would say go check it out. We had two different, I would say, ideologies, approaches, if you will. And I thought it was a good, healthy discussion, and also appreciate everybody's feedback in the comments and on the live stream. It was very, very interesting, and I hope people learned a lot. I know I did. I always learn a lot with these discussions, and I try to have an open mind and learning from other people's perspectives and where they came from and where their mindset is coming from. So interesting discussion, but nonetheless, we opened up that live stream with talking about the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and we had a small discussion in the beginning based on an article that I'll put in the comments section right here. This came out June 9th, and it was just talking about the name of the article is Tumbling Tickers, so you can you know where that goes. So JSC lags broker industry in red as deal flow dries up, and I thought it was important. Like that's what happened last week, right? And it was important, or is important, to talk about it because we talk a lot about, or have been talking a lot about, how well the Jamaica Stock Exchange has been doing, and over the last few years, and it was actually recognized by Bloomberg Financial twice for being the best performing stock exchange in the world. And now here we are at being, from a technical standpoint, it's being positioned as one of the worst performing stock exchanges in the world in 2023. And it's interesting that we're here, right? And what does that mean? Why and how did the Jamaica Stock Exchange get here? And is this something that we should be worried about, concerned about, so on and so forth? And ultimately, is the Jamaica Stock Exchange still a good place to invest? And everybody is in their different situation and are in different parts of their own personal finance journeys. And it I guess it depends, but obviously any exchange in the world is going to have ups and downs. And not at all trying to make excuses here, but name of the game is buy low, sell high, right? And that's what I would say most people are trying to do. It's not buy low, sell low, right? Sell lower. And we'll get into, I think it's also important to discuss the reasons why. We're not going to come up with the reason, but it's obviously a very complicated discussion, and there's a multitude of reasons, contributions as to how we got here. And same with the U.S. Stock Exchange. It's my portfolio in the U.S. is no bueno. I mean, very, very bad. But I still continue to invest, and I haven't been turned away. But two different markets, two different. Some reasons are the same. Many are very different. So let's get into this first article. And so again, I divided up into two different aspects. So we got this first article, and then we have a small analysis of three articles, which which is where we got a lot of our sources from. So I'll put the sources in the comments once we get to that. So let me hit the comments before I get into this article. It's a bit dense. I'm going to be skipping around a little bit, but I just want to hit certain points to really open up our discussion here. But yeah, let me hit the comments real quick before, and I don't want to seem like I'm ignoring everybody. Let's see where we are. Hidden Beauty chiming in from Florida. Hello, Orin. Bless up. Chiming in from Ochi. Sherry Berry. I love your channel. The content is very solid and insightful. Thank you very much, Sherry. Stanley Franklin. Happy Father's Day, Throppers. Happy Sunday, Throp. Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers. And thanks for chiming in, Stanley. Tisha chiming in from Florida. Not Javon. I'm 20 and trying to explore possibilities in Jamaica. Hopefully, I can hear a lot. Yep, we got a lot of content on this channel about that. We have a lot. I guess I'll get into this later, but we have a lot more content as it relates to that. We got some really good, I would say, exciting real estate videos that are coming up, and we've taken a very different approach, not only in how we put this content together, but also the type of real estate opportunities that we're putting out there. And the idea really is, more than anything, I hope with the real estate content that we're presenting on this channel, that we are building context around real estate in Jamaica and the opportunity of investing in real estate in Jamaica. And so that you can get, without being here physically, you can get an idea in your mind of what you are buying and pinning it against one investment, real estate investment opportunity against another. And this could be a commercial real estate, which is two properties that we're doing. One we have already captured and documented, and another one we'll be doing in the next few weeks. But it could be a commercial real estate property, or it could be something residential. Maybe you're doing even Airbnb. Maybe this is your summer home, winter home, your vacation home, whatever it is. I want to be able to give you as much information and knowledge about different opportunities in investing in real estate, but then also, like, say you're in advanced stages of the journey of purchasing a property, but at least you have more information on, say, hey, this property is worth X amount in a grill, but the same equivalent property is charging double, right? Whatever it is, I think context is most important here. Not Javon, I hope that some of the content that we have here on the channel can help you along your own personal journey. Hidden Beauty says, I'm 27. I'm of Jamaican descent. I would love to invest in my home country, perhaps even move there one day. I think that's very possible. I don't see why not. Hi, Ms. Cole. Thanks for chiming in. Learn, Grow, Invest. I was planning to cover that article. We'll check out the video. Yep, I think we're about to cover it right now. We didn't really cover it in that much detail last week, to be honest. Big Ben, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Oren says, Throp, have you seen the housing development going on in St. Anne, the newest being Paradisic? It is really luxurious. My overseas Jamaicans look it up. Very nice. Nope. Haven't seen that one. I'm not sure which one you're talking to. I'll take a look at it. And Maureen is chiming in from London. All right, awesome. All caught up on the comments. Oh, except for Charles. What's going on? Strong Island in the building. How you doing, Chris? Chris Charles, that is. Sorry. Strong Island is in the building. Okay, let's get to the article. All right, let's see if I could pull it up here. All right, so you can read along here on the screen. I pulled it up if you like, or you can just kind of listen in. Like I said, I'm going to be skipping around a little bit, and hopefully this can start off our discussion here. All right, tumbling tickers, JSC broker industry in red as deal flow dries up. So this came out last week, June 9th, 2023. After enjoying 2 recent years as the best performing stock exchange in the world, the Jamaica Stock Exchange is now among the worst performing in 2023, with trading values at about 2/5 of 2022 highs. According to countryeconomy.com, Uzbekistan Composite UCI, is the best performing stock exchange in 2023, as it remains up 79.5% year to date. This is in stark contrast to the Iceland Stock Exchange main index, ICEX, which is down 10.54% and is the worst performing index in 2023. The JSE index closed Thursday at 329,000 points, a 7.33 year-to-date percent decline from 355,000 points to start the year, which makes it among the top five worst indices in 2023, as it is sandwiched between KSW Kuwait Index and ADX Abu Dhabi, which are down 6.47% and 8.16%, respectively. The reduction in the JSE index is reflected in 30 companies on the main market being down up to the end of May, with 17 increasing so far, and Cygnus Credit Investments Limited remaining firm. The JSE index only saw 1.71 billion in value traded in May, which is 41% of the 4.15 billion traded in May 2022. If one goes back even to April, there was only 1.46 billion in value traded compared to 6.14 billion in April 2022. There's a 54% less value traded in the first 5 months of 2023 than that of 2022. If one goes back as far as May 2018, there was a $8.68 billion in revenue traded during that month, when the JSE index was at 296,345 points. The current JSE index value is lower than the COVID-19 lows seen in 2020 and extends back to August 2018, which was one of the years when the JSE index was one of the best performing. The higher interest rate environment also caused investors to demand higher required returns for stocks, which means that companies' future cash flows were significantly discounted, lowering the valuation for most stocks. While the ongoing economic recovery augurs well for the sector, these gains have been weakened by headwinds impacting the operating and financial environment, said a recent NCB Capital Markets weekly guide on that of the financial sector stocks, which was largely down in 2023. This was resulted in Trinidad-based Massey Holdings Limited being the most valuable company on the JSE with a market capitalization of 199.56 billion, compared to Sagicor Jamaica Limited, which has a market capitalization of 189 billion. All right, let's skip down. Where do I want to go? All right, so I thought this was interesting too, and I want to hear what you all think about this. While the I missed it. Okay, here it is. While the JSE is planning to introduce short selling over the next 2 years, along with a raft of other initiatives, the high interest rate environment is likely to continue to stifle the stock market, which has gone the first 5 months of the year without a public market offering, which is an initial public offering. The JSE had a direct market access session recently under its Phase 2 initiative, where Berita Investments Limited and QMAX Wealth Management Limited were listed as brokers that interested investors could contact to access international markets. However, the recent outages being experienced on the JTrader Pro platform have overshadowed some recent announcements. Furthermore, higher market interest rates will keep financing costs for corporates elevated and depressed business investment. Additionally, a weak economy could mean a reduction in demand from consumers and slower growth, or even a decline in corporate earnings. Companies with weak fundamentals and strategies will see their prices fall further, the NCBCM report added. So I don't know. So two things I want to ask you all: if anybody out there is trading on the JTrader Pro app, have you had experience with issues with your experience lately, as this article is alluding to? And then also, what do you all think about the JSE planning to introduce short selling in the next 2 years? This is the first time that I heard this. I find that very, very interesting. I know that's a big part of, I would say, other global markets, particularly the US market, is short selling and options trading, which I don't think is that big here. So just want to see what you guys think. Brokers in the red. The market softness has also spilled over to brokers who have seen more fair value losses on their books, reduced trading opportunities, lower management fees, and a higher cost of financing in the current economic environment. This was evident in the recent quarterly financials of several financial companies who reported reduced earnings for their wealth management or brokerage businesses. Sagicor Group, I'm going to save those because we're going to get into that shortly. Um, we're going to get into that in a second. And finishing up the last few paragraphs of the article, one broker this week announced 10 layoffs, with other brokers also trimming their staff base and seeking to consolidate operation to cut downs on cost. Other industry members have mentioned that the industry is seeing red as things remain tough in the sector. While some brokers are looking forward to greater opportunities in the second half of 2023, the U.S. Federal Reserve and Bank of Jamaica raising rates continue to diminish investor interest in some of the products and services they might have to offer. Although, side note, they did not raise, the Fed that is, did not raise rates recently, which was, I think, good. They just, from what I understand, they're just trying to kind of test the market. They said the raising of the rates has helped with inflation, and they didn't raise it in their last meeting. And so, not to say that they won't, they more than likely will raise the rate again. So this came out before that. So I just wanted to make mention of that. The market also took a hit in confidence following the allegations of at the Stocks and Securities Limited (SSL) in January, which has continued to play out in the courts, with Boost Financial Services in court with them yesterday. SSL clients continue to remain in limbo as the Financial Services Commission continues to process approvals for any transactions for SSL clients, which includes moving their stock portfolio to other brokers. This effectively means that SSL portfolios are not on the JSE right now. Also, the Play ransomware group left a comment on the Mayberry breach stating private and confidential data, clients and employee documents, finance, taxes, and etc. For now, partially published, compressed 5 gigabytes. If there is no reaction, full dump will be uploaded. Okay. Interesting. So that's the end of this article. All right, cool. Let me bring that down. And we can hop over to the comments real quick and have a discussion. And like I said, I have another synopsis that I want to bring to the table. We'll get to in a second. Forever stock market down since 2020. Learn Grow Invest says there are some offers coming to the market over the next few weeks and months. Yes, there were some outages on the J Trader Pro, experienced it firsthand. They have been talking about introducing short selling for a while now. It's not new, meaning it's not new, them speaking about it. Gotcha. So let me get your last comment. Not sure if you heard about that. Thought Mayberry had a data breach recently. Nope, haven't heard it. Haven't heard anything about that. All this is new to me in terms of prepping for this, prepping for today, and a lot of activity happening there, as you can see, and I think that's going to be kind of interesting, bringing short selling to Jamaica. Maybe dangerous, definitely dangerous. I know a lot of people who in the U.S. Who didn't know what they were doing and short selling and just lost tons and tons of money. So I would say, that's something that hopefully there is, I don't know, an element of education, but it would have to be continuous. It'd have to be continuous. All right, let's get to it, Jeff. One issue that may affect Jamaican real estate and stocks is the drop in the U.S. dollar. Jamaican real estate and stocks may be considered as exports for offshore purchases. U.S. dollar may drop 10% by year end. What? Oh, so I would ask you, Jeff, what gives you the indication that the value of the US dollar would drop that much? Is it because of the interest rates? Is it because of what's going on? And there's a lot going on, but Yeah, I'll just leave it open to you to answer that question. I wanna curious to hear your thoughts. Forever, the US market have nothing to do with the Jamaican market thought when it comes to Jamaican stocks. 2020 US stocks spiked, whereas Jamaican stocks tanked. I wouldn't say it has nothing to do with it, but there are I agree that two very, very different markets, as we stated earlier, that the Jamaica Stock Exchange at one point was the best performing stock exchange in the world for 2 years in a row, and in my opinion, there continues to be a lot of upside, investing in the JSE. Ingy Baby, hello from Orlando Throp and Throppers. Cage says, I lost all my investments in the stock market. It's been crashing since 2020. No US and Canadian markets. Learn Grow Invest says lots of persons losing money now without short selling. The importance is education on how to invest. Totally agree. I'm losing a lot. Well, I would say like I said, my portfolio is down, and I was not doing any short selling at all. Chris says, my biggest concern in future financial health starts with security. When will Usain Bolt be reimbursed? I agree. And so I was at an event yesterday talking to again, I didn't know, like, these folks were subscribers and I didn't know, and they were just talking about investing. One lady was talking about investing in the stock market here in Jamaica, and she's always been curious about it. But because of what happened with SSL, she has become even more skeptical about investing in Jamaica, the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And so I'm not person. I'm not afraid to admit this. Like, not that I didn't take the SSL situation seriously, but I didn't, I guess, understand the or appreciate the global ramifications of this. And when we first started talking about this, and when this first came out, however many months ago, one of the first things I said is the most important part here is, I think this is to Chris's point here, is the most important part of this fallout of this thing happening with SSL is like how the authorities are going to respond to it. How is the financial sector and the powers that be within that sector going to respond to this? And that is everything. And it's very slow moving. It's very slow moving, I have to admit. And the concerns are wide and they are deep. And if we really want to get past this in a positive way, as the best way as possible as a country and as a global exchange, the response has to be better than this. I mean, how can we I mean, obviously there's due process, there's everything, but like also in terms of holding people accountable, that's one. And then two is what is going to be put in place to protect investors in the future? What kind of guarantees are they going to have? And again, I did not appreciate enough how the impact of this, and that this is like everybody, especially we were talking last week about the Jamaica, the I forget, we were talking about, like, the percentage of Jamaicans that are invested in the stock market, right? And our own estimation, everybody agreed that it's probably a very low percentage of people. And as a retail investor and somebody who's not paying attention to this, when you see and hear these headlines, you're not going to be too enthusiastic about investing in a stock exchange. And so the person that I was talking to yesterday, they're obviously not a broker. They obviously don't know what's happening on the detailed level in the Jamaica Stock Exchange, but they are paying attention to headlines and pay attention to what's happening in Jamaica. And this doesn't sound good. Like Chris is saying, this is like, when is Bolt going to get back his money? And everybody's thinking, like, if this can happen to Bolt, this can happen to me. And if he can't get his money back, then what's going to happen if something of this nature happens to me? So the responses again is slow moving. I understand it's a process, but we also have to understand that there is the public perception is very, very important, very powerful. And I always say perception is reality. And right now, this is not really looking too good. Philly Art says short selling also can be devastated to start up a company. Uh, Learn, Grow, Invest thought we might need to have a talk about your portfolio strategy. I'm always here for consultation. So I've understood. I think also an important part about investing is understanding who you are as an investor and understanding your temperament. And I do two types of investing. So like I do, and like this is not investing advice. I'm not certified financial planner or anything like that. So how I invest is I do like some of my own trading. Like I wouldn't even call it trading. I'm more of a buy and hold guy. I just don't have the time to. I used to do it like to like kind of just be there day trading, paying attention to it. And I also realized that like people do this every single day. And it's like me it's like me trying to go into the world of investing and compete with people who went to school for this, who do this every day, who are paying attention to what's happening in the global markets and know these companies like the back of their hands. And for me to come in and compete against them, just like kind of every now and then, shoot a basketball, right? And then out of nowhere, I'm going to try and play with the guys in the NBA. It's just not going to happen. Like I'm not going to win, and it is a competition. We got to understand. In order for you to win, somebody has to lose, and that's just the way the market is. And it's a huge competition. And if you don't know what you're doing, these people will take your lunch money like easily. So in understanding my temperament. So I do that a little bit of trading with my own portfolio, like mostly, and I also got some good advice from my friend who in business school who does trading, who's trading in class, which I just don't understand. But anyway, he's like the best advice he gave me. He's like invest in what you know. And so the things that I invest in are companies that I know, and I was mostly invested in technology, U.S. technology stocks, and obviously that sector is not doing too well at all right now. But it's okay. Like I said, I'm buy and hold, I'm long game. And the other investment strategy that I use, which is perfect for me, is that I do robo investing. So I've been, for those that don't know, robo investing is essentially having a a robot invest for you. So how it work, and it's more of a set it and forget it investment strategy. And this is just who I am and where I am in terms of my life and lifestyle and my personality. So I use this app called Wealthfront, and they take out X amount of dollars out of my account every single month. And based on a survey that I filled out on my risk tolerance, they take my money and then they invest it in various different companies, and then they also trade for me, and they do this tax loss harvesting, and then they also, based on how I answered the questionnaire, they take out any dividends that I make and they reinvest it. And that has been the best strategy. I've been with them since 2016, and I think I'm up. I mean, I don't mean to brag or anything like that, but it's I could tell you right now. All time up 99.2% since 2016. And this to me takes out all the emotion. This I don't have to keep up with what's happening. And it's worked. And it was really, I remember, like, and it's just kind of going back to what we were saying of investing in buy low, sell high, and like this, what that does. Like I remember in 2018 when it was like a really bad year for the stock market, and like the portfolio was like down like 42% or something like that. But using the strategy of dollar cost averaging and continue to invest on a regular timetable, it paid off tremendously, and that's the same. That's what I continue to do now. And so Wealthfront is what I use. You can check it out. And there are a few other apps and investors advisors out there. I know, I believe even Schwab, which is the brokerage that I use in the U.S., they also have a robo advisor option as well. I think most do at this point, but that's just my personal way of investing. Okay, sorry, a lot of comments here. Let me get back. But thanks for the offer. Jeff says US dollar is overpriced, politics and high debt. The dollar index is slowly declining. Gotcha. Thanks, Jeff. Philly, You already vibed. Short selling works best in a bear market. For the last recent months, we have seen a bull market. Gotcha. Learn, grow, invest. Well, person should understand that what was happening with Usain Bolt was fraud. It's not about investing being unsafe. Forever Throp, do you think the government should bail out SSL clients who lost money? I mean, I think whatever they do, like if they did that, right, that would have to be I think that would have to be a policy change, right? And they're also saying would be saying that kind of like SVB Bank when they went under and everybody got guaranteed their money, this Silicon Valley Bank in the US, it's signaling to the market. That would be signaling to the market that your money, your investment is guaranteed, um, if fraud should happen. So, like, was stated earlier, that this wasn't, say, a something that happened in the market that caused the value of the investment to go down precipitously. This was fraud, like Learn, Grow, Invest said. This was fraud, and so, would they be putting a policy in place that would say if a fraud happens in the financial market and you lose your money because of that, the government has your back, or maybe it has your back up to a certain amount. So that could be a slippery slope. I also think that they need to address the other side is that what types of punishment are these people going to get? Because it's not only the loss of money, the clients that are suffering, but as a country and as an exchange, the reputation is being hurt at levels that we can't even calculate. Like I said, every time when I talk to people who are thinking about investing in the Jamaica Stock Exchange right now because of what's happening, they don't want to have anything to do with it. So there is a reputational cost that is going to be felt for many, many years at this point. Hey, Shayna, thanks for chiming in. Nice to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Billy says swing trading is advisable, day trading risky. Lone Grow Invest says some tech stocks are doing well in the US. My Microsoft stock is doing amazingly well right now. Yep, I do have some stock. I do have some tech stocks that are doing good. But I also say it's just like I have what would I say? I have multiple friends. I won't say a lot of my friends, but I have friends that are in working for these tech companies. Not going to name names again. Uh, not going to name names of the companies, but they're working in these tech companies. And I have some friends who are leaders in this company and these companies, and they are gearing up for layoffs related to AI. I have friends who have recently been laid off that are in tech and they're going through rounds. I mean, I'm talking about the biggest companies that are out there. And you hear about these layoffs and these rounds of layoffs in the news. And it's just kind of crazy that it's, armed lengths, 1 degree separation. And you have friends that are suffering these layoffs and they are living and expressing their new realities to you. And it seems like it's going to continue to go down this path like that I'm hearing from you see in the news, and then you hear from what I would call mid-level leadership and mid-level management leadership in that of my friends. And this is something to be aware of, and this is kind of what I'm hearing and experiencing, so to speak, from a degree of separation, if you will. Inga Baby says, heavy into tech stocks as well. I'm doing very good because I invest in my ETF portfolio is up. Good for you. I wish I did more ETFs. I wish, but I didn't listen. Channel of Coaching. What's the name of it? Robo Advisor or Robo Investing. And I use Wealthfront. That's what I use, and I've been using them for quite some time now, and very, very happy with them. Philly says, tech is actually doing well for the last couple of months, driven by recent love for AI. Awesome. Yeah, I know. I guess maybe I just picked some bad tech stocks. I guess I picked some bad tech stocks, but that's just where my portfolio is. see. Inga Baby says, always buy the dip and hold long term. Building wealth is a slow and steady process. Start early to be consistent and you will win. I think that's the best advice out there. That is precisely my strategy and how I approach this whole thing. Loan Grow Invest, I think just as you have deposit insurance with JDIC, you can have investment insurance in a case a broker goes into default, similar to SSL. The thing is, when companies do layoffs, sometimes investors are happy about it because it might increase profits, but the domino effect of layoffs across sectors usually not a good sign. Agreed. Forever says you can always invest in ChatGPT stock. Copeland Russell says, "Will Jamaica Stock Exchange be number one again? It is now very low." I think the potential is there. The potential is there, but I think it's. I mean, I would think that the rate at which, and I think Jamaica in general is still in a very in a growth phase and continues to be. And as I said this last week as well, that the Jamaica Stock Exchange doesn't necessarily dictate the strength of the country financially. And as it stated, it's 30 companies we're talking about, and Jamaica is more than the JSE in terms of its economics. And when I look at two specific sectors outside of stock trading and outside of finance, I look at real estate, which I know is also being very much driven by the Jamaica Stock Exchange from an institutional investor standpoint. But when you look at that and you look at the rate of investment that's going on there, and specifically, I would say what gives me confidence to say this is more so private developers or standalone developers as opposed to institutional developers. And then I also look at the investment on the hospitality hotel side, and that continues to come in fast and furious. And that's one thing that I would continue to say that gives me a lot of confidence. However, I do understand that, and I believe that we definitely, as a country, we need to work on diversifying that part of Jamaica, and in terms of its real estate investment portfolio, and get in more industries. And we got I think we got yeah we got into that last week in terms of different ideas of different things that we can do and bring to the country in terms of different industries. And we don't got to get into that here, but again, those two sectors is what gives me a lot of confidence. All right, let's get into all right. Let's get into the second part of this discussion. Okay, so these are some of the, I won't call them statements, some information directly regarded to the brokers. All right, so this excerpt comes from the article we just read. Brokers in the red. The market softness has also spilled over to brokers who have seen far more fair value losses on their books, reduced trading opportunities, lower management fees, and higher costs of financing in the current economic environment. This was evident in the recent quarterly financials of several financial companies who reported reduced earnings for their wealth management or brokerage businesses. Sagicor Group Jamaica Limited mentioned in its first quarter report that its investment banking segment, which includes Sagicor Investments Jamaica Limited, had a $70.36 million loss relative to the $308 million profit in the prior period. The underperformance was blamed on increased funding costs, which reduced net interest margins. VM Investments Limited, which has its wholly owned subsidiary VM Wealth Management Limited, reported improved net interest and other operating revenue of $439 million, but had an operating loss of $5.25 million. Its share of associate profit from Kingston Properties Limited pushed its net profit up 41% to $19.92 million. Burita Investments Limited saw a sharp cut in the net interest income by 75% to 139 million in their second quarter, with a significant part of their net operating income coming from gains on their exposure to the Burita Real Estate Portfolio Fund. Mayberry Investments Limited incurred a net interest loss of $35.32 million in the first quarter relative to a $75.47 million in net interest income in the prior period. This loss was driven by a one-time interest expense of $38 million related to their bond offering, where they raised $6.4 billion. Our Jamaica investment business, GK Capital Management Limited, or GK Capital, recorded a decline in revenue and profitability. This was primarily attributed to unrealized gains recorded in the prior year period associated with the execution of two IPOs by GK Capital, which contrasts with the first quarter of 2023 when these gains did not recur. GK Capital has also been negatively impacted by the below par performance of Jamaica's equity market. All right, comments from the streets. No IPO and falling prices. There is nothing going on. No IPO and prices falling. People are in it to make money, and if they are not seeing any possibilities, they are going to keep their money. Okay, so these are quotes from the streets. Moving on, buy and hold. Time to buy and hold. How long will interest rates remain high? Growing market manipulation. As for those who like to play the buy and hold strategy, I have news for you. It is bad. Market manipulations have grown far too sophisticated thanks to computers, algorithms, etc. The real gains now come from trading in the mad world of options. But to go there, you have to have two things: knowledge and cojones. Best time to find bargain prices for the best stocks. Like I keep saying, real estate, baby. For the stubborn investor and those with ice water running through their veins, if you must remain in the stock market, you can find bargain prices for the best stocks in this market. Example, NCB, Highway, Grace, etc. They can survive the long haul and worth holding on to. High percentage in the JSE. It's normal for a stock market to underperform, especially given how much of a high percentage some companies have in the JSE, such as NCB, which is currently down. All right, and that's pretty much the end of the assessment that we put together. Want to hear what you all think about that, and I will guess talk a little bit about some of the messages from the streets here, right? So I guess I'll just jump around. So we talked a little bit about buy and hold, and like I said, I already talked about like that. That was kind of being like my strategy, my approach. Some people are a little bit more aggressive and have just like the guy said, ice in their veins, and they can do different things. But that's not me right now. Um, but that's a way to. That's an investment strategy that I guess anybody can do. They talk a lot about there not being that many IPOs, but Lone Grow Invest says that there are some things coming up later in the year. And I just remember that when I was in business school and I took this M&A class, mergers and acquisitions class, and part of being a part of that class is that we had to. This is in 2010, 2011, so shortly after the global financial collapse. And part of the class, we had to do like just tons and tons of research on the market. And we were essentially being used by, in a good way, right? We were used by the financial sector to do research on current market. And so what we used to do is we did all this research, and like we went through this questionnaires, and we call up these different financial institutions to help to just fill out these surveys, and we put all the information together to create this report to send out to these institutions, and this was also part of the reason why they participated in these surveys, is that they would get the data after we finished as MBA students, after we finished doing like all this research over however many months or whatever. And the main idea behind it was to measure the M&A activity that was happening in the market in a given period of time, and they would use that volume and also the type of M&A activity that was happening to make future decisions about the market. And my point in bringing that up is that M&A is really I would say a big part of understanding the financial strength of a market, and then also I think it also builds confidence in the market, especially from, I think, like definitely from an institutional perspective, but then also from the run of the mill investor like me and you, and like understanding like, oh, this, and kind of bringing it back to IPOs, is like when you see like new businesses coming on par and like capital being raised, it just shows that on a big level, like wide scale, that there's confidence in the market, and that people are and companies are taking chunks of money and putting it in this new startup and this new idea and this new thing that's happening. And then same thing with like M&A activity. If companies are, I think, if companies are acquiring other companies, that means they're growing, that they're expanding, and that they see optimism in the market and they see opportunity in the market, as opposed to being conservative and maybe being a little bit more scarce with the limited resources that we all have. And just, again, I just think when these sort of things happen, it shows confidence. So we'll see what happens, in terms of, maybe we're only just over halfway through the year. So a lot of activity happens, activity happens, particularly in the fourth quarter. I know that in the hospitality industry, and I know that, of course, just in the retail markets as well. Let's get to some comments here. Claudette, happy Father's Day. Thanks for chiming in. Good to see you. Learn Grow Invest says Mayberry VM and NTB all did bonds this year. Okay, you guys are having your own private conversation. Sorry. Oren says, with all the hotels and residential developments, I think Harb Cement is a good buy. Makes sense. We're gonna need some cement for those for those investments. Lone Grow Invest says, yes, definitely some offers coming to the market shortly. There is a social IPO out now on the Jamaica Stock Exchange called Project Star. M&A activities usually increase in the market like this when rates are up and stock market is down. Gotcha. All right. I think we're going to do a quick little break. So I put these, I'll wait for any more comments to come in. I know we said a lot there recently, but I put these videos together. So one thing we were talking about, idea we did this drive-through of Negril, and we got a couple of them. So this was just kind of an idea that we had put together about, and I think this is a good break here at just going over the hour mark, and then we can come back to the comments. I hope the quality is okay, because we have to like really bring it down to put on here, but we'll see how it goes. So this is actually 4 parts in total. I was thinking about putting this out as a standalone video, but we'll see how it goes here today. And this will give me a chance to take a little break, and we'll come back. So enjoy the video. Hello and welcome. If this is your first time visiting, a special welcome to you. We got a special feature today. We are doing a driving tour of Negril, Jamaica, particularly focusing on the West End. And this is a bit of a long video. It's about 40 minutes. And depending on where you're watching it, this will be in different parts or one long video. My name is Winthrop Wellington, by the way, and here on my channel, we really discuss all things Jamaica. But today, as I mentioned, we're going to be doing a bit of tour of Negril, and we're just going to flow with it. We're just going to flow with it and see where this takes us. So we are starting this tour off on Norman Manley Boulevard, otherwise known as the Beach Road at Travelers Beach Resort, which is my family's hotel. And of course we gotta wait for the traffic, but across there on the left side of your screen, that is our NEAT Resource Center, or the Negril Education Environment Trust Resource Center. NEAT is my family's nonprofit organization, which focuses on education for young people. So right now we're heading south on Norman Manley Boulevard. Pretty beautiful day, as you can see. I don't know what the temperature was when we filmed this, but it was nice. It was a nice day. And so we're heading towards downtown Negril, and on your left is the shared user path. So that's running, walking, biking, and that goes for a little bit over 2 miles. To your right is the Negril Beach Park. It has a basketball court and the beach, of course, and just really open space. Unfortunately, it's closed right now. They have plans to do some refurbishing. And then we just passed the Negril Community Center. And then we're also passing the craft market on your right side. And this is the South Negril River and Bridge. And we're heading to the Negril roundabout. Of course, going into the roundabout, you have to give way. And if you're in the roundabout, you have the right of way. And we are going west end, so we're going to be taking a right here at the roundabout and veering left. And so here downtown, this is a few shopping centers, if you will. There's Little Caesars Pizza on the right, Popeyes, Burger King. There's a Digicel store down here as well. And on the left coming up is Scotiabank, which some people might be familiar with depending on where you are from, but it's a Canadian bank. And I guess officially this is where the west end of Negril starts. And on your left here is Corner Bar, which is a pretty popular restaurant. Great local food. Haven't had it in a while, but the reviews continue to be very good. And on the left, that's Vendors Plaza. That's the Negril Chamber of Commerce owned plaza. And on the right, obviously, we have the sea. Unfortunately, I don't think we panned right, but you basically could see the entirety of Negril on the right-hand side if you were to look right. You need to get a 360 camera next time, right? Anyway, on the left is the Negril Post Office, not in the greatest of shapes, but that is our post office. And then right after that is Samuel's Hardware on the left. And that's, I would say, probably the most popular hardware store in Negril. Mostly every business uses them. And then on the left, the green building, that's Quality Traders. That's where I do my grocery shopping. Been going there for years. And then we're coming up on the, I guess what used to be the High-Low Value Master NCB Plaza, but NCB and High-Low moved. So that's no longer there, and that place is being refurbished. And this is called Church Corner. As we move through the West End. Just cruising. And this is the Negril Library on the left, and then followed by Negril All Age School. And then this is another hardware store on the left. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I'm just flowing with it, and as I see things, I want to point them out to you. On the right is the Negril Yacht Club, which is for sale. Hopefully, should be doing a video on that hopefully sometime soon. Canoe Bar is on the right. It's pretty much the only property on the west end that has a beach. good food there. Haven't been there in a while either, but their food is pretty good. That used to be German bar, but I don't know what it is now. But boats used to pull up there. They used to have really good pizza. This used to be Boat Bar on the right, but it changed into something else. I'm not sure what it is now. And then Millard is on the left. And if you know Millard, that's 24 Hours Place. Good food as well. And then Patsy's is on the right. So they do, I think it's basically the only standalone coffee shop in the grill. And they do good pastries, good lunch. I did a live stream from there and also did a video with them as well for the channel, which was cool. This is Ocean Cliff on the right we just passed. I did the farewell dinner there for ThropX 2022. Beautiful property, formerly known as the Spa Retreat. But beautiful property, great food that we had there for the farewell dinner retreat. And here on the West End, like, it's a very different experience than the beach. As you can see, like, it's very, it's I wouldn't say secluded, maybe too strong of a word, but definitely when you're on the properties, it's a little bit more secluded and separated, as compared to the beach, where there's just more traffic and no real, I guess, super separation between the properties. And really talking in terms of traversing. So to go from property to property here, you actually have to come out the property and walk along the roads here, whereas like the properties on the beach, you can either walk on the beach and go from property to property, or the road, if you will. And if you're across the street from the beach, then we have the shared user path, depending on where the property is. Now we are passing Samsara, which is friends of the family, another good small hotel in the grill. Sorry about that wind sound. I didn't anticipate that, but that just makes sense, just coming from the camera. This is Kaiser's. This was used to be a very famous place for shows back in the day, before my time. Coming up on the left and the right here is Ekstabi, great seafood place. Haven't been there in a while, but do enjoy their food. Great lobster during a lobster season. Three Dives coming up on the right here. Very, very popular restaurant, local restaurant. Great jerk chicken, jerk food in general. They were actually on the Amazing Race, if I'm not mistaken. Almost certain of that. Nice view here of the sea. We're passing Pushcart on the right, which borders its sister property, Rock House, one of my favorite restaurants in the grill. They also have an award-winning spa, one of my favorite spas in the grill, as a matter of fact. And haven't been there in a while. When I say a while, like a few months, but I'm a regular customer there for sure. They do excellent job. Very technical, and I guess you can call me bougie when it comes to massages, but I know what I like and I know what I want, and they do a fantastic job there. That's Corosi's Cliff we just looked at. And as you can see, we're literally just riding the coast here. The only thing separating us from the coast is the property. So this is as close as we can get in a vehicle moving through the West End. Okay, that was the part 1 or 4. Let me know if you want to watch another part today. We can do that. We can throw that up on the screen, but it seems like everybody enjoyed it, especially Inga Baby. So yeah, that was cool. I think this is kind of like doing stuff like this gives like visual to like a lot of the things that I talk about, and I'm going. Oh, hold on, my keyboard is dying or dead. Um, in respect to traversing the grill and giving an idea, I always reference the West End, so I'm glad that I was able to kind of show that today. Um, I just want to bring up where we bring up the map. Of course, I can. Of course, I'm going to bring up the map, right? All right, cool, cool, cool. Let me see if I can add that to the stream. Okay, here is here is the map. So we started out here at Travelers, and then we made a right coming out the property. And this is Norman Manley Boulevard or the Beach Road. And so this is the 7 miles. So I always say you got 5 miles of white sand beach here, and then you got another two right here. And that's what makes up the 7 miles of white sand beach. So Norman Manley Boulevard is essentially 7 miles. And we drove downtown to the roundabout here. And then we went along the west end. And we just drove past Samsara. We drove past Xtabby. We drove past, I don't think we got to Rock House. So we're somewhere around here right now in the video. And we're gonna make hold on, where do we go? Okay, yeah. We go all the way deep west end. Here we go along here. We go past West Ender here. And then we make our way up here all through these like mountains. You can't see the contour, but yeah, we make through the mountains, and then we come back all the way down here, and we come out here on off of Whitehall Road in on Nampro Road, and we make our way back. So that's to give you an idea of our journey. If you want to see part two, we can. If you guys want to do that today, we can do that. I know it's long. Anger Baby says she wants to see part two. Um, Nietzsche said I live here and I enjoyed it. Awesome. Okay. All right. We'll put up part two. Growing up Jamaican says stayed at Samsara 17 years ago. Glad to know it's still there. Yeah, they've made some huge improvements. They've expanded there. I haven't been, but it looks absolutely beautiful. Super, super modern, and really looks really, really nice from pictures and videos I've seen from influencers and people hanging out there. Going up Jamaican says love the West End. Me too. Me too. Sandra Brown says I really like your podcast. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Kay says love you and Jay. Okay, we'll show part two shortly. Just want to do a little bit more housekeeping. Ms. Cole says that was cool, reminding me where I was 3 weeks ago. Awesome. Star August Ali says yes, please. Cage Level says the roads need some work, yet the government is taking all that for himself. Yeah, you haven't even seen the bad roads yet, so you're about to. You'll see it in the second part shortly as we move into deep West End. But yeah, we need some investment in the roads here. It's crazy. I agree. At the event that I was at yesterday, there was this guy just talking about it, and his opinion was if we fix the roads, everything else will fall into place. So to get rid of crime, it'll get rid of everything. I was like, I don't know about that, but I'm sure it would help with a lot tremendously if we had some good roads. And I'd like to think that that's on the way. And I know there's a lot of investment being made into the interconnection of Jamaica through these different highways. And I think that's a huge deal, big deal for sure. But then we also need some investments for sure in like little roads like the Grill, West End Road, Non-Pro Road, the Beach Road, etc. But there are roads way, way worse than here. I have to say, there in Jamaica. I'm sure you all can speak to that. Yes, Kay, I had to bring up the map. All right, we'll put up part two in a second. I hear you. We're gonna do it. Glad you guys liked it. I didn't know how that was gonna be received. So that's awesome. That tells me that we can do more stuff like that and create more videos like that. Awesome. I'll be more than happy to do that. Miss Cole say, what do you say, Trop? The Roko Toko hasn't started yet in the video. No, not yet. It's about to come. They in when I was in South Africa, we were on a safari and the road was obviously terrible. Like we're going through safari and on the in these trucks, and the driver was like, this is an African massage," because it was just so like crazy, crazy, crazy bumpy. Like we can't even complain over here. Trust me, it was ridiculous. But yeah, we're about to get a Jamaican massage in a second. All right. So as far as just a few updates, just on some content I alluded to earlier, we got some really awesome commercial real estate videos that we have coming out. We already shot one, and you're gonna learn about this in the newsletter this month. It's Divine Destiny. So we're putting listing in the newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, you can go to thropx.com and you can see the newsletter there. You can sign up for the newsletter, and then in the newsletter, we're going to include Divine Destiny. And so, what I like about this property, and the first time that we're doing this, and this is going to come out in it's coming out next month, but you're on the live stream, so I'm gonna let y'all know about it. But this is a fixer upper property. Like almost every property that we've covered so far has been either turnkey or pre-construction. That's all we have covered. And this is the first time we're covering a property, and a commercial real estate property that is that needs work, and we have positioned it as such, and we are hoping to connect this property with a buyer that really has a can see the vision of this property and its location, and to turn it into an asset for the community. And it's here in Negril, and as I stated in the video, that I think it's important that we have good property owners and good investors in Negril. And we've had some bad investors in Negril, and we're like a small community where any I wouldn't say anything, but if you're doing something on the fringes, it's gonna affect the community, positive or negatively. And to me, if we can connect a buyer with one of these with a property, and it doesn't have to be this property, but any property that is progressively minded, that sees the future of Jamaica in an optimistic way, and particularly in Negril, and understands the needs of Negril and sees it an opportunity for them also to benefit. I think that's the best thing. That's the best way forward. And we, again, are presenting it in a very, I think, in a very real way. Like we're not hiding anything in terms of, we're not trying to sell you this property and saying, hey, this is the greatest thing ever since sliced bread. No, we're presenting it in a very real manner, in a real way. And again, I'm super excited that we are presenting a quote unquote fixer upper. And so that's coming in the next few weeks. And we also have another commercial real estate property. I've already put it on my Instagram on one of its reels. This is Somewhere West. And it won't be in this month's newsletter, probably next month's newsletter. And that is another like pretty awesome property. Both these properties are on the west end. And I'm excited for those videos to be coming out. We also have some pretty cool interviews that we've already done. They're being edited, and these are more, one is entrepreneurial, one is, I would say, Jamaica healthcare related for sure. And both I guess they're both entrepreneurial, but one is healthcare related, one is more so I would say focused on business. And very excited to share those, and excited for the content coming up. We have going to be pushing more so for more real estate content as well, and finance content, finance and banking content. So we have those coming up this summer. It's going to be a super, super busy summer. And as I stated earlier, like the team has been shifting its mindset and focusing on ThropX. So we're going to kind of transition here to ThropX info. And so those that are not aware, ThropX is a Jamaica investment conference, and we did it for the first time last year, and we're having it again this year, extending an additional 2 days from November 13th to November 17th, hosted at Travelers Beach Resort in Negril, only investment conference in Negril. And we have already begun selling tickets, and it's one of those things, I would say, if you are interested in investing or moving to Jamaica and you are unsure. And to me, this is like the best way to kind of get your to stick your toe in the water, so to speak. And to also, and this is one thing that I think I took for granted going into ThropX 2022, and that is like the networking and the network that was created amongst attendees, and then also even the speakers. And what I realized is like there were so many people who came that had this like-minded ideology of Jamaica and see the potential in Jamaica, and you're going to meet people just like that. And so I guess right now I'm going to put up the testimonial video real quick, but we also have confirmed fully Amashika Lauren. She's going to be the host again. And so if you were in ThropX 2022, like, Amashika is beyond amazing. Like, and if you watch clips, she is the one who asked these amazingly curated, put together questions during ThropX, and she is just phenomenal. So we're bringing her back on this year, and she has confirmed, and very, very happy to announce that she will be our host. And I'm going to throw on I think we put this on a few weeks ago. So these are just some testimonials that we put together, and then we'll put on part 2. And I think we're going to close out after that, part 2 of the Negril driving tour. And then we'll close out after that. All right. So here, just a few minutes, is the testimonials for ThropX 2022. And if you have any feedback, because this is still a work in progress, we have a lot more content coming out as it relates to this. But check it out.
Hi, my name is Matthew Wallace, co-founder of Scotch Boys, one of the panelists today. Really enjoyed myself. I think this is just such a great initiative for Negril and for Jamaica on a whole. And can't big up Winthrop enough for starting this and for seeing it through.
Hi, I'm Emma Watson, and I just want to say thank you to Thorpe for inviting me to this amazing experience. It was really informative and engaging, and I'm just really honored to be able to be a part of this.
I'm having such a good time. I'll tell you, being at this conference, it has exceeded my expectation. The food is good, the host is good, the conversation, the people who I've met. I felt like I'm sort of mixing it up with movie star, and I'm looking for, because I've seen these guys on YouTube, man. You guys are stars.
This is my first time with ThropX. I was able to volunteer over these last couple of days, and I have to say it was a phenomenal experience, meeting different experts in the field of banking, real estate, education. Just overall, I'm just really looking forward to diving deeper, investing into Jamaica, and looking at other ways to create a career and to be here.
Coming to Throp's conference, first of all, I wouldn't even have been able to make the move as smoothly without seeing Throp put out all the positivity that he's been putting out about Jamaica, because if you're in the US and you're watching it, all you see is just negativity. And so, I came to the conference just to network, and it's been absolutely amazing. Just hearing from other people that are in the same situation, where you know that you're not the only one, and so you're not crazy trying to move back to Jamaica.
It is awesome. It is amazing. I drove in from Montego Bay, and the one thing I can say is it was inspiring. Many people in the industry that could give a plethora of information for yourself, for investments, and it's just something authentic about it that makes you feel like, wow, I'm at the right place, I'm getting the right information, and getting the direct access to who you need to know.
I'm here at the first Truck conference, and believe me, it's way more than I expected. I expected great things, so I look forward to next year. It's going to get even bigger from here.
And let me just tell you, this was such an awesome experience. The content top class. I mean, I will be watching these videos over and over again, and I suggest everybody does. There's so much information. Anybody who is planning to do business in Jamaica, even if you live in Jamaica, you don't have to be from overseas. There is so much information that you need and that you can also pass on. So if I do one good thing for you today, I'm recommending you to subscribe to Throp, follow his content. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
All right, that was the ThropX 2022. Some testimonials that we put together. So we're planning this thing like pretty much every day now. This is pretty awesome that we got here, and this is thanks to you. This all came from doing these live stream conversations. This idea those came from the community, which is just so awesome that we just took this thing that was over the internet and we brought it to real life, which is just amazing to me. Like, I just can't even understand like how this thing is happening. So we continue to plan this. We have some really awesome things planned for the value, and like one of the things that like the feedback that we got was just like having more downtime to just kind of relax and enjoy Jamaica, and so that has also been built into this as well. And just we were just having, I forget who I was talking to. Maybe I was talking to Winfield. Yeah, my brother. I was talking to my brother about this, like talking about like the timeline we were on last year compared to this year, and just so much less pressure, I have to say. And I'm not taking this for granted. Like, one, we have a successful event behind us. That's one. Two, we're starting earlier than we started last year. We have a website. We have like all these things that were already in place. And then we got to also think about like, and I'm just kind of venting here, I guess, like the madness that I caught myself up in last year with the dating show, with the After Happily Ever After show, which I didn't even know what, and I couldn't let you all know that I was doing this dating show on BET. And I was like literally at this point, I was in the process of, I think I got accepted at this point, and I was in the process of just doing like just all of the, I don't know, just jumping through these hoops of interview after interview and lawyer and this and that, blah 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 blah, that I was going through. And then literally I think I forget which day I flew out, some point in July, and this happened in, I don't think I told the story of this, but this happened in a maybe about a 38 day turnaround, where I got a call text from a casting agent, and then I was on a plane to Kentucky to shoot this show. And so I was away for 3 weeks shooting the show, basically no access to my phone, not planning any of this, and then came back at the end of July, August to put ThropX together. And also keep in mind, for you, those of you who don't know, I was still by myself. I didn't have anybody on my team. I had Candice I hired at the end of August. And then even after I hired her, 2 weeks later, we were on a plane to a YouTube conference. And then again, we were still in the process of planning ThropX. And I didn't know when the show was going to air on BET. And I was like, please God, like, this air after ThropX, I was just praying for that. And then I was also training for the New York City Marathon, which is a week before ThropX, which I had never ran before, but I really wanted to get under my belt. And it was just like a crazy time, crazy summer, like the most stress that I've ever been in my life, like by far, like just the highest of highest stakes. And yeah, the show came out before that, the BET, and all like, I wouldn't say press, but like everything that comes with that releasing a show and being on television for the first time, etc. It was like a lot. So I say all that to say is it's like, man, we are in such a much better place as a team. Like I have Candice now, I have producers, I have a cameraman, an editor, which is awesome. So a lot of help this year, and we were able to Candice and myself were able to pull this off, and a lot of credit to Candice, honestly, to of just like really keeping everything together and allowing like a really successful event. And now we have like a full team, like completely dedicated to this and to the channel now. And so really excited for this year and what we can do without having all this crazy stress. Like I can't even begin to tell you like what my mind was going through and like why did I do this to myself. But it was a great experience, and I'm glad I don't have all these those types of pressures going into this year. And I'm again super confident about ThropX this year. All right, let's get to the comments real quick, and then we'll play part 2, and we'll close out the stream. Carmen Bennett, happy Sunday, Throp, and happy Father's Day to all the Throppers. Please tell your father happy birthday and happy Father's Day from Carmen from Toronto. Okay, I will do that. Chris Charles says, don't forget to click thumbs up. Yes, please click a thumbs up. That definitely helps out a lot. RN2 CEO, yes, would like to see the healthcare opportunities. Are there hotel packages for the conference? Yes, there are. So we have packages here at Travelers. So you can, front desk reservations is well aware of the conference. So you can, best way is to email, but if you have any questions, you can call the hotel and they can help you out. But if you want to make your reservations, you can do reservations at tbresorts.com. Let me write that down. But yeah, you can do that. You can shoot them an email. And then also, if you wanted more information on the conference, you can go to thropex.com and join the mailing list. And I think that's also a good way to get just up-to-date information. And then also I would say follow us on this is kind of crazy to think, like we didn't even have an Instagram last year for ThropX, and I wasn't putting it on my personal Instagram. So we also have ThropX as an Instagram profile, and we're going to start like ramping up our posts there and keeping everybody up to date on what we're doing. So that's a good way to kind of keep up with new things that are happening. And lastly, on ThropX, we're going to be doing we're going to bring back the second live stream. So that's one thing that we did very well last year, and we didn't put a single dollar into advertisement. It was all this community, just these live streams, and we had 2 live streams a week. We had Thursday and Sunday, so we're going to bring back the Thursday live streams, and those are going to be exclusive ThropX live streams, and bringing on speakers and also talking about updates and things of that nature. So that's going to be the Thursday live stream. So we're bringing that back in July, and starting the first Thursday in July, we'll have our first ThropX live stream, and that will continue right up until November. I do have some travel in between there that we might miss 1 or 2 streams, but like we did last year, I'll always make up for it on another day. But we're trying to keep it consistent, 4 o'clock on Thursdays. And we also found that that's kind of the sweet spot for getting guests on as well, because that falls within the work week and their working hours as well. So that's the live stream, the second live stream that we'll be doing next, starting next month. Sherry Berry asked, what's the dates for ThropX 2023? It is November 13th to November 17th. Those are the dates. I am what I am. I'm so glad you are holding this conversation. I'm on the island this week and was interested in talking to a Jamaican investment advisor. So we had a couple of those on the channel for those who are interested. I always say, I even told the folks that I spoke to yesterday about, they had their concerns about investing in Jamaica Stock Exchange. And I was like, have a conversation with an advisor. And I have several recommended advisors that I have worked with and have been on the channel, and people who I've recommended to them are very happy with their service and also the outcome that they had with working with them. So if you want a direct connection, you can email me drop@thropmedia.com. I'm putting that in the comments here. And I'll be more than happy to get you over their contact info. And if you just search investing in the stock exchange or investing in Jamaica on my channel, I have a bunch of videos, and you could kind of meet those people, so to speak, through the videos that we put together. So that's also on my channel. Okay, let's get into part 2 real quick of the tour, the drive-through tour. If you're just joining, you missed the part 1 of the drive-through tour. So I want to put up part 2. Hope you enjoy. And I'd say like this is pretty typical in terms of traffic on the West End. It's not really a crowded place. The roads are narrow, but it's relatively safe as far as traffic goes. I guess because it's like so windy, you're forced to slow down, and also there are just not a lot of cars there. I bike here, I run here as well, and I like it a little bit better than the beach in the sense of there just not being that many cars passing and driving towards you. It's La Mirage Hotel. That's the sister property to Shirella Inn. Both great small properties, locally owned. It seems like I'm driving fast, but I don't think I'm driving fast. These properties are just like whizzing by. There's Ivan's, otherwise known as Catch a Falling Star. Again, one of my favorite restaurants, I would say, too. Highly recommend them. They do really good stuff, great service and great food. Coming up here on the right, this is the world famous Rick's Cafe, where you can do cliff jumping if you are brave enough, but it's definitely, I would say, the most popular place, bar and a grill, place to go and to grill. LTU, that's a popular expat bar. And they do their famous Halloween party every October as well. I've never been, but I hear stories. I hear it's a lot of fun. Little girl saying hello. Right, we are going deeper into the West End. We're almost in deep West End, but not quite there yet. And coming up on the right is the Caves, which is known as a very exclusive property. A lot of celebrities have been there and stayed there before. I actually went there for dinner the other day, which was very nice. Good food. We had dinner in the Cave. And this is our famous lighthouse. Unfortunately, it has been privatized, so from what I understand, there's no more tours to the lighthouse, which is unfortunate. I've never been. It's just like one of those things you just take for granted. You're like, oh, you'll get there sometime, and then next thing you know, somebody buys it and you can't go in. But still an important part of Negril nonetheless. Then on the right is Whoopi's, which was just a famous chill-out spot back in the day, particularly during the spring break heyday and the late 90s, early 2000s. Now you could either go right or go left, and we're going to go right. Down to the left is the Negril laundromat, and then right here, I guess this officially starts the Deep West End. And I like the Deep West End. It's a very different feel from even the West End, the regular West End, if you will, and a very different feel, more so from the beach road. That's a villa there. I forget the name of it, but we've done a few events there for guests at Travelers. Beautiful, beautiful villa. I want to say, like, some of the most beautiful properties are on the West End, but also the Deep West. Some of the most beautiful properties in Negril. This is the Cliff Hotel on the right side. I think this is the most beautiful property in Negril. Honestly, like, it's just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I was there for dinner the other day, a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact. But really, really beautiful property. And for whatever reason, every time I've been there, there's like nobody there. But I think they focus more on groups than anything else. But I really don't know their business model. But great hotel, great for dinner as well. Highly recommend them as well. Service is great as well. On top of their cuisine. So these roads are not the best, and you can imagine biking here. So you've got to take it easy. But as you can see, a little glimpse on the right side of your screen, the views here are just amazing, and I've seen some of the most beautiful sunsets back here. And I've said this on the channel before. I think this is a great place to invest now, especially, like, I know there's a lot of people who want sea view, our ocean front, and to get that on the Negril Beach Road is going to be very, very expensive. You know, we're probably talking, at least at this time, what I understand, like, depending on the property, $1 million to $1.5 million US per acre. And that might be on the conservative side, to be honest. And again, depending on where it is and what property. Whereas here, you know, I wish I could speak to what you'd pay per acre here, but it's significantly less. It's a lot less developed. But as you'll see as we drive through here, there is a lot of development happening, at least more activity than I've ever seen in recent times. And the types of development that I'm seeing here is mostly villas. And to me, this is like the perfect location, perfect row, if you will, for villas. Treasure Beach has a very similar setup, and there's a part of Treasure Beach where it's just villa after villa after villa after villa. And you're already having elements of this along this Deep West End road here. And I think it's perfect, right on the water, just amazing views. You know, I wish we could have got out and shown you, but if you can just imagine, just past these gates, these houses, on the other side, you have just endless views of the sea. And depending on how deep you go, you can actually see the coastline, like looking left and right as you go out to the water. So this is an example of a recently built villa. I don't know the name of it, I don't know the owner, but it's very beautiful. I've seen pictures on Facebook as well. I was actually flying my drone for this property here on the left, somewhere west. We're doing a video for them and working with the owner to help her sell that property. But when I was looking at the drone and looking at that property, it's just really, really beautifully built, super modern. And again, to me, this is like the perfect location to do accommodations just like that. Or maybe not accommodations, maybe you want to build your dream home. I think this is the perfect place to do it. You're really by yourself, and we're about a little over 17 minutes in. I would say if there is a negative to being back here, it's that it'll take you about 15 to 20 minutes from downtown to get here. But some people like that. Some people love that, as a matter of fact. And just something to take into consideration. Coming up here on the right, this is actually a hotel that just never got off the ground. Obviously, they got off the ground, so to speak, but just never opened, really, for whatever reason. I think whoever did this had great vision. I think this was an excellent location to put a hotel. And I think it was also, in a sense, before its time. But that hotel is actually for sale, and it's being sold by actually one of our real estate experts, St. Alban Clark. So if you are interested, let me know if you want to find out a little bit more information on that property. We can St. Alban can give you that information. So let me know shoot me a DM on Instagram at Throp, THROP, or you can shoot me an email at Throp, THROP, at thropmedia.com. I always like driving down this road. It's like super smooth, and then as we make a right here, I always imagine like kids in high school doing drag racing down here, but they don't do that here, and don't do that. I'm not recommending that at all. But we are, again, deep West End. Beautiful views on, at least here, you know, I like this. And to the left, you have like the mountains, and then deep into the right, you have this sea, just to give you a little heads up on orientation. All right, that's part 2. Hope you all enjoyed that. I'm going to just bring up the map real quick just to show you where exactly we are. So we started the video somewhere around here, part 2. And we drove all the way down this coast here. This is the caves. This is the lighthouse that I pointed out here. And this is a Deep West End here, Deep West End Road here, past Whoopies. And this is Deep West End going down here. And we passed the Cliff Hotel, which I said was the most beautiful property in the Grill. And we drove past here, Pelican Lookout. And we made a left here. So this was that hotel that I mentioned that never really got off the ground. And then we made that left. And then we made a right here. This is crazy. There's no road here. I can tell you that. But yeah, there's no road straight. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, we made a left here and then made a right here, and we stopped just about right here. So this is where part 2 stopped. And I guess we'll say part 3 and 4 for next week. Yeah, Shayna, couldn't resist. Could not resist bringing out the map. Any excuse to bring out the map. But yeah, that's the, I guess you guys seen the first half of the tour of Negril. Virtual Design Studio says, I love the rural communal feel. It's so different from the concrete, harsh urban setting in Kingston. And I hope that, like, my hope for like Negril is that you have, like, at some point that you have like this development. Like, we're having a lot of development here, but I would love to see it get ramped up and Negril turn into this self-sustaining community where you can, like, I would say most of your needs, your living needs, are available here in Negril. So like, you know, big big name, I would say supermarkets, but like a Mega Mart or a Price Mart, you know, something that where you can buy in bulk. We don't have that here. You have to go to Montego Bay or you have to go to Kingston so you're able to buy in bulk. So it would be great to have something like that. Even from a social standpoint, entertainment standpoint, we need diversity, right? We talked about a movie theater, the impact of having a movie theater in a community and what that does to a community. Bowling alley, even social clubs and things of that nature. A lot of that is just missing from our community. A park, a public park, we don't have. I know I mentioned in the video, we have the Negril Beach Park, but it's closed right now. And even when it is open, and people still use it, you know, we have basketball court. I saw the other day some kids were playing football there, like soccer, and they on the basketball court. But you know, we don't really have a place that community can gather and network and socialize and interact. And I think that, like, that's so important. That's an important part of building a community, is having these, outside of like nighttime parties and nighttime activity, but having these family focused facilities that are either super cheap, are affordable, are free, and in respect to the park, where you can have these social gatherings and kids from different families can play with each other and parents can talk, and there are these just serendipitous interactions with community members that you can't anticipate or plan or structure, but you have to facilitate it through having these community facilities. And that's one thing that is definitely missing from the grill. And I think it would really help to further develop our community and help build community. So my hope is that the grill becomes both, to the point of Harika here, a virtual design studio, of having an element where if you want to live in a and have the feel of a rural community like in the Deep West End, which we saw in the video, but then also only being 15 to 20 minutes away from being able to buy in bulk or go to a movie or go to a lounge or a coffee shop or a shared I was gonna say shared user path. No, but a shared communal working place like a WeWork or something like that. And so and have a diversity in different types of dining, of different type of cuisines that you can go to and enjoy as an individual or with your family or your significant other, and a place for kids to play and hang out, right? And just only to be 15 or 20 minutes away from that, but then be able to again go back to a rural setting with a little bit more space, right? So yeah, that's where I would love to see the grill get to at some point. Donna Bryce says, "Love these videos. Thank you, thank you. We'll make sure we show the next parts next week." Inga Baby says, "Absolutely beautiful. Thanks, Drop. You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll definitely show 3 and 4 next week, and maybe we'll have to show 1 and 2 again. Hopefully not, but we'll just do 3 and 4 next week." RN2CEO, wow, I remember taking photos at the lighthouse back in the day. Yep. Claudette asked, "Do you have a hospital?" Yep, we do have a hospital. I can show you exactly where the hospital is right now. So Negril has one of the newest hospitals in Jamaica, Omega Medical Hospital. So here is Travelers right here on the beach road. And oh, it's not updated, but this is where the hospital is. I thought it would be on the map. Oh no, it is here. Okay, sorry. This is where the hospital is. This is where the KFC Plaza is going. So they need to move that. So this is Omega Medical Hospital right here. And it's a private hospital, but it's modern, it's up to date, and we are very happy to have it here in the grill. Like I know it's being used, I can tell you that. And before that, we're talking about 45-minute drive to a hospital, the Salve Lamar Hospital, and then you have Lucy Hospital. And this is a huge, huge blessing for the community. Mega, mega, mega blessing. And we really, really appreciate that. And I think that's, I don't know where you are in life, Claudette, so to speak, and your personal journey, but I know this is something that is very important to folks who are looking to retire and getting an understanding of just where the nearest medical care is, the level of that service and medical care, the availability and cost of prescription medication, and all these sorts of things. So this answers a lot of that and addresses a lot of that. So I think that's important that we have this. And I recently did. So the medical video I was alluding to before is about a young dentist who opened a practice here right before COVID, and it's here in Negril at the Boardwalk Village Plaza. And he's a young man, early 30s, started his practice here in Negril. And it's like one of those things I'm like, we have to support this business and we have to support this young man. And it's a modern facility. I actually I talked about this in the video a few weeks ago. I bit into I think I talked about this already, but I bit into a bone and I cracked my tooth, one of my molars, and like a piece of my tooth came off. And so I was talking to my aunt, and she works in a dental office, and I was like, "Hey, do you think my dentist is in New York, and I haven't gone to anybody else, and been going to this dentist, Dr. Kirsch, West 86th Street, 115 West 86th Street, and he's been my dentist since I was probably 10 years old." And my aunt was telling me, "Hey, you need to go get this fixed because it was sharp and I could cut my tongue, and there was just a lot of risk involved with that." So anyway, ended up going to Dr. Murray here in the grill, and he filled it and good to go. And it was I also went to New York like a few, maybe not even a week after I got it done, and I went to my dentist, checked it out. He's like, "Hey, he did a great job, excellent job." And so that was good to be able to have that available here in the grill. And I want to continue to encourage those types of businesses and those types of services that sometimes we take for granted, but we don't realize how important they are when you really need them. And of course, this was kind of an emergency situation, but we want to make it really going off of the conversation myself and Dr. Murray had, but we want to make it just part of our lifestyle to make sure health is a priority and our dental health and hygiene is also a priority, and going to the dentist and having good dental hygiene practices not only for us but also our children. And there are so many implications in a society that doesn't take dental health seriously, and maybe even through just from what Dr. Murray is telling me, just a lack of education, a lack of understanding of dental care. And there seems to be a lot of education that needs to be done. But it wasn't only until recent, I'm giving away the interview, but it's very interesting to me, and I think important for us to know and acknowledge these things, is that when he first went before he went to dental school, there was like only 20 dentists on the island or something crazy like that. And I was like, man, that is incredible. But now there is a dental school on island, and there are new dentists graduating every year and going out into the workforce, so to speak. And I consider Dr. Murray a huge asset to the Negro community. And ultimately, what I'm saying here is that it's important that we support these types of businesses and these types of services in our community in whatever way that we can, because I look at it is that we have this service here, we have this professional facility, and I know these things are important to community members and people who are moving here. Like, we want to continue to attract investment here, and we're going to continue to attract families here, and families are going to look at these things and what do we have? What do we have to offer? Which I would consider this to be kind of a basic service in any community. And now we have it. And not that we didn't have it before. We did have a doctor here that we talked to, but we didn't have this type of dental facility. I can tell you that. And so this is kind of really awesome that we have him here. And I want to continue to highlight businesses like this in our community and hopefully just drive traffic there. And one of the things I was also stating, which is kind of a premise of one of the of this video, is really health tourism, and this being an opportunity for people who maybe, particularly Americans that don't have dental care, are not covered in that respect, to come while they're here in Jamaica, is to get a checkup or get your teeth cleaned. And he does teeth whitening. So if you want to do stuff like that, you can get it done for a fraction of the cost as it would be in the United States. And these are things that I think we have to think a little bit differently. And as we come on vacation or we come to visit family in Jamaica, perhaps these are some of the things, these services that are being offered that are great, high quality services that we should be taking into consideration, because it also supports the local economy and local community, not just, local businesses like restaurants and hotels and stuff like that, but there are other services that are being offered here that are at a very, very high level. And Dr. Murray, I would say, is one of those people I would put in that bucket, and we want to support him in whatever way we can. T says, does anyone know if having your own well is allowed in this area? As far as I know, yes. We have property in the deep, deep West End, and we tried to start a farm there. This is 10 plus years ago. I would say we did start a farm there, but what was the most expensive part about running a farm that far, that deep, was the water. And so we were trucking water there, we were trucking river water there, but it was just unsustainable. So we were told that if you dig deep enough, that you can get get well water. And so we did it. We went about 300 feet in underground, and unfortunately, it was brackish water, so it wasn't water that can be used. And yeah, it was a little bit of a waste, unfortunately. But it's one of those things you got to take a risk and figure out if it's possible. But if that did work out, I mean, that would be crazy, and we'd be able to supply our own water to our farm, and then also in the West End, because they do have water problems there. A lot of people have to truck their water there in West End. FYI. Jay Fit says, is there public beach access if someone decides to build on the West End? No, there are no beaches on the West End. The only beach that there is, I think, officially would be Canoe Bar, and that's like in the beginning of the West End. But there are places that you can dive in the cliff. So, like Extabi, for example, you can jump in the water there. Rock House, you have water access, not beach access, but water. You can go snorkeling. The West End has amazing, amazing snorkeling. So you can go there as you go to. So I'm bring up the map. So as you go to deep West End, so you're basically South Coast at this point, right? More or less, you're on the southern part of Jamaica here. So I would say like the water gets, and I don't know, obviously I don't spend a tremendous amount of time back there, but on that road that I was talking about, so this is the road that we were driving down, that I was saying has like you can do like the Villa Row, so to speak, we'll call it that. And this is their water access here along these cliffs, and these are cliffs. They're not high cliffs. They're not high cliffs. You can literally, like, so Pelican Lookout, for example, you can literally walk to the edge here. As we go deeper west, even somewhere west, here. They have this is a seawater pool, so it's filled in from the sea. You can get down here, and then we'll even go as far as, all right, Jackie's on the Reef, which is here. This is Jackie's on the Reef. This is West Ender Inn. You can actually have access to that, and they have ladders that you can go down. Even so that's so far. I remember Rick's Cafe, you can do cliff jumping. Rock House, you also have water access. This is Rock House here. This is their infinity pool, and you have ladders that you can climb down into the water. And sometimes it's rough, sometimes it's swimmable. It's mostly swimmable. However, what I will say, as you get into the deeper West End, as you move to the South Coast, as you move to the South Coast, the water gets, I would say, significantly rougher. And I would say you have less opportunity to have water access here, because the way, depending on the type of year and all that, I don't know a lot about it, but it's not as protected as, say, like the Rock House, Extabi, and these hotels access before you kind of get into the southern part of the island. But it is possible. So long story short, you do have sea access, but it's not a beach. This is not beachfront property. So I hope that answers your question. If it's Anthony Gale says, I have property on the West End Road. I think we need to talk. Let's talk. Claudette Samuel says, I'm a nurse, and so that interests me. Okay, awesome. Sherry Berry says, I don't think Negril is densely populated enough to sustain a large franchise chain. Agreed. I think currently, I also will say, I don't think even just being quite frank, like the level of income in the grill doesn't necessarily warrant that. And when I say warrant that, like, if I'm sure they are, like a Mega Mart or Price Mart has ran the numbers on the income in the grill, generally speaking, right? And when you look at the industries that we have here, it's pretty much tourism. 90% of the dollars that are any business here is surrounded by tourism, and that is also the jobs that are here are majority related to tourism. And so, how do we get to a point where it does the grill does demand large franchise companies to come in here, like a Price Smart, or maybe even an Active Traders, right? And we have to attract the community, and we have to attract those types of people. And one of the main ways I've been saying that we can do that is to build accommodations, homes for those types of people, which we don't have, and which Negril is severely lacking in. And I always ask this question: which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And that is the business of, does the business come here in terms of the entrepreneurs and the first movers, so to speak, on moving to a community, or does the accommodations come? And I think my conclusion is like, man, we have to build accommodations first and to attract these people. And that's kind of where we've come to at this point, at least in my mind. That's what I think. I'm not saying that this is the fact and this is gospel or anything like that, but that's why I think. And then we attract those people, and those people are going to attract certain types of businesses, and those businesses are going to be supported by the community and the people who can afford to support those businesses. Thank you for the comment, Sherry Berry. Anthony Gale says, do you think a plaza would do well along West End Road near me yard and grill? To me, it's like, if you do a plaza there, I would say, yeah. I would say yes. I would say yes. But like, what's the anchor business going to be? What is going to be that chain or that company that is going to attract foot traffic there that would support the other businesses in the plaza? And most developers who build plazas, it's usually it's usually a supermarket. Usually a supermarket is that traffic driving business that people go to. So, like, let's just think of some that we know of. And if we look at, say, Megamart in Montego Bay, like that's the anchor company for business for all the other companies and all the other businesses in that plaza. I would also say, even at the Boardwalk Village Plaza, the newest plaza that we have in the grill, the anchor, I'd say they got two anchors, and this is very smart. One is Hilo, newest Hilo in all of Jamaica, and then two NCBs, the newest NCB in all of Jamaica. Or at least it was at one point, right? And so that is high volume traffic that is coming to a plaza that is going to spill over into all the other businesses. So if I'm somebody who's looking to lease a place and looking for location, it's like, that's very, very attractive to me, because people have to go to the bank and people have to do grocery shopping. And hey, maybe after they do that or before they do that, hey, let me get a smoothie. Or hey, let me stop at the pharmacy, which is also there. I got to pick up this medication for my son or my daughter or whatever it is. And like these plazas that it's just so many spillovers. Like, oh, let me get my haircut. Like, so they have that's where the dental office is. Hey, I got a dental appointment. Let me do some grocery shopping after I finish. So it's just like this very, very positive feedback loop that continues to happen and support each other within the plaza. And so to your question, Anthony, I would think, what is going to be a driving factor of a plaza on the West End? And then I would also think that plaza is going to be, I would say primarily, but is really going to be a huge asset to people who are living on the West End, as opposed to having to drive. I mean, it may sound lazy, right? And so I'm going to bring up your example here on the map. And so where Anthony's talking about is, we say Yard. So as for reference, this is the Negril roundabout here. And so we're going back to the West End, and we are looking, let's see. So my yard is I'm trying not to lose my grill card here. So before that, boom, this is Boat Bar, German Bar. It's got to be somewhere around here, right? Somewhere in this facility. There's me yard. So it's not too far deep West End. And to me, it's like, who are we supplying? And we look at the density here at Whitehall, and then we look at the density here at the of the road, and then you see the density here. What am I doing here? You see the density here, and it's not so much. And so, is this enough to supply and be like your main customers? Maybe, perhaps. But I think also, like I said to my original question, I think it would have to be something that there'd have to be some sort of anchor store that would drive that China traffic, and I think it also depend on what other stores that you're going to be bringing there. Joan Richardson's, hey Throb, greetings from Bermuda. I really enjoy the videos. Love Negril, even though next time. Oh yeah, I see it. I will be sure to visit Negril next time we visit Jamaica. You do an awesome job. Thanks. I share your videos with family and friends in the UK and US. How about hospital for the locals? Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate your support, Joan. Yeah, they're working on the improvement of Savlamar Hospital, which is the main hospital here in the West, and at least Westmoreland. And it's slow moving. It's slow moving. And I would say that is something that is a priority, and of course, I would like to see it move a little bit faster. RN2CEO says, "What about the clinic in Negril? Is it still there?" Yep, the clinic is still there. We actually will drive past it on the video on the next part of the fourth part of the drive-through video. So it's still there, and that is for the public as well. But a lot of improvement has happened to that. Credit to the Negril Rotary Club, but it's not enough to service the entire community. Kevin says, how do we get additional information for potential sponsorship opportunities for ThropX? Sure, I can send that to you. We have our sponsorship packages already put together, and we've actually started sending them out, and that would be awesome. Yeah, we can absolutely connect. Yeah, Kev, just shoot me an email. Would love to talk about it. My email there, throp@thropmedia.com, and yeah, just let me know. I'd love to talk about it. Callison says, ran into you yesterday at Travelers, gave you my NCB business card, left NBC business card, left NBC since. We'll be in JA next month to look into an investment opportunity. Would love to be back in November for the conference. Awesome. Would love to have you. Thanks, Callison. Claudette, I have to hop off. Have a great rest of the weekend. Nice job, Thop. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I think we're going to call it right there. I'm starting to get calls about the Father's Day celebration / birthday party for my dad. So I do got to get running. But this was awesome. I thank everybody for joining. And I hope we learned a little bit about the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And like I said, we're going to be having the second live stream for ThropX coming on Thursdays in July, which I'm very excited about. And we will put the third part of the drive-through. We'll do 3 and 4 next week. Sorry to leave a bit of a cliffhanger, but if you want to see parts 3 and 4, come next week to the live stream on Sunday. It should be another fun one. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet, but I'll be sure to let everybody know as soon as we figure it out and see what's going on. And hopefully we'll have a guest on next week, because we love having guests. And I think you also like it as well as part of the Throp community. So I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you for joining this Sunday live stream. This was good. Please hit the like button, the thumbs up button. It helps out tremendously. And we're going to get out our newsletter this week. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, you can go to thropx.com and you'll get the up-to-date newsletter on what's happening, all things ThropX and things happening in the Throp world. Thank you again for joining, everybody. Have a great week, and I will see you next Sunday. Peace.